The Sushant Singh Rajput death probe isn't only murky but is also coming across as increasingly politicized by the day. Just this morning, Bihar Chief Minister and JDU leader Nitish Kumar has recommended a CBI investigation into the suicide. You're joining us live in this edition of Politically Correct with our political editor DK Singh. And the question we are asking today is whether Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar is guilty of playing politics over Sushant Singh Rajput's death. What do you think?
Of course he is, but it's not just Nitish Kumar. Like every party has done this. It started with Chirag Paswan of the LJP demanding this. Then he was supported by Tejaswi Yadav. And yesterday you saw there was this one-day session of the Bihar Assembly where late Sushant Singh's cousin, actually, he's a BJP MLA, Neeraj Singh.
Yeah.
He raised this issue and then every party joined.
Yeah.
And today we saw Nitish Kumar recommending it. And Nitish Kumar, he has been sitting over this. He has been a chief minister for quite a long time now, close to 14 years. He has been a minister at the center. He knows that Bihar cannot recommend.
Yeah.
Because the jurisdiction is that of the Maharashtra government, Maharashtra police. The Bihar cannot recommend the CBI inquiry into something which is being looked into by the Mumbai police. Because the crime or the incident happened there.
Yeah.
Yet he has gone ahead and done it. Let's see, this case will be coming for a hearing in the Supreme Court tomorrow, as we are told. And we'll see what stand the Supreme Court takes. Because the Riya Chakraborty, against whom Sushant's father has lodged an FIR, she has gone to the Supreme Court basically asking that Bihar FIR to be transferred to Mumbai. Let's see what the court says, because as the legal provisions go under the Criminal Procedure Code and the CRPC, if something has happened in Mumbai, the jurisdiction is for the Mumbai police.
Yeah.
Bihar police do not have any jurisdiction there. But then politics is being played out. That is because in Bihar, it's a poll-bound state. And people have managed to, or politicians rather, they have managed to convert it into a political issue. An issue involving Bihari pride.
Yeah.
Some Bihari allegedly killed, though it was a suicide case, but they suspect he could have been killed. There could be some murky thing happening there. There are lots of allegations flying around, so we don't know. But that's where you talk about politics of Bihar. And Nitish Kumar had to yield because gradually, as I am told, today I was talking to many people in Patna, and they tell me that this issue is kind of gaining traction in the state. And Nitish Kumar could not have, in an election year, you can't afford to ignore this.
Yeah.
But then it also helps his ally, the BJP. Now, as you saw, as the song goes, "Kahin pe nigahein, kahin pe nishana," now it helps the BJP in Mumbai and Maharashtra. Because now you are projecting Uddhav Thackeray government as doing some kind of injustice, purportedly, against people coming from Bihar.
Yeah.
Now, Uddhav Thackeray government being from the Shiv Sena and Shiv Sena leading the government. Shiv Sena's old politics in 1960s when it was founded on the basis of this kind of anti-migrant politics. And that charge has stuck with Shiv Sena, although the party is trying to kind of wrangle out of it. The party is trying to project itself as more liberal, more inclusive. And Uddhav Thackera's Shiv Sena is very different from Bal Thackera's.
Yeah.
Now you haven't really heard of Shiv Sena targeting anybody from UP or Bihar, from any other state. Because these migrants constitute a formidable force in Mumbai also.
Yeah.
So nobody wants to take them on now. Shiv Sena politics cannot go on if they continue to target outsiders. Quote unquote, as the old Shiv Sena used to say.
Yeah.
But by raking up this issue, you are somehow trying to corner the Shiv Sena in Maharashtra also. And the BJP can be talking about this. We will talk about this, how, the BJP's aim would be to kind of project Shiv Sena as a party which continues to be anti-Bihari, anti-UPI, that way. So that's another strand of politics in this Sushant Singh Rajput.
Is this going to stick though? Don't you think it's a bit of a stretch to make him sort of the poster boy?
We haven't really seen any reaction in Mumbai, although there was some reaction by your former Mumbai Congress chief, who is from
Yes.
Bihar, was born in Bihar. I'm just
Yeah.
forgetting his tweet, but he was talking about how this injustice is being done to Sushant Singh Rajput.
Yeah.
But then it's not getting any traction in Maharashtra.
Hmm.
But definitely on the ground in Bihar, I am told there is some traction of this entire politics over this death.
It is picking up.
Yeah.
Bancho Murthy is asking you, why is Maharashtra police not transparent and proactive? Cooperation with Bihar police won't hurt anyone. Even a CBI inquiry must be welcomed by it, and assistance given to the police.
To an extent, yes, I agree. Because Maharashtra government is hiding behind legalese.
Yeah.
Now, Bihar government is, of course, like it is trying to turn the table on this entire constitutional scheme of things. Now, if some crime has happened in Mumbai, I mean, Bihar police cannot be going to Mumbai to investigate it.
Yeah.
Now, that's not done. I mean, if you start doing that,
It's the wrong precedent. Yeah.
no, it cannot happen. The entire constitutional scheme of things will be topsy-turvy.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. Nitish Kumar did that. But what Uddhav Thackeray government could have done, or what Mumbai police could have done was, well, you want some cooperation, you want a copy of the FIR or whatever statements you have taken from people. Mumbai police has recorded statements of over 50 people. Now, if you want to have a copy of those statements, you want to look into it, fine, take it. I mean, how did it matter? You are not handing over the investigation. And that would have silenced the Bihar politicians.
Yeah.
So there was no harm in sharing documents or in cooperating. Instead of quarantining a Bihar cadre IPS officer who was there to supervise that investigation, you could have just cooperated. And Uddhav Thackeray, given the heat on him, on his government now on this issue, and Uddhav Thackeray government should agree to go for a CBI probe. Why not? So instead of Bihar government recommending it, Maharashtra government can very well recommend a CBI probe and kind of put a lid on this entire controversy.
Yeah. You said that this issue is gaining traction in Bihar. Sameer Raut is asking you, is this mostly an urban Bihar issue, because most of the rural Bihar is still reeling from floods and migration?
That's true. Another aspect of this entire politics over Sushant Singh Rajput's death is, it helps Nitish Kumar divert attention from the pandemic in Bihar
Yeah.
and this flood situation. There is a huge threat in several districts in Bihar. Now, I was talking to somebody in Samastipur. Now, the water level is very high. Anytime they are expecting floods anytime, and there is so much of this sense of insecurity and helplessness, because when you are already dealing with pandemic, and after it took a while for the people in Bihar to realize that coronavirus is a real threat. Because last time I went there for a couple of days, some people I was interacting with, one of them basically said, Bihar mein corona bhasm ho jayega. Then I saw another report in some paper quoting another person in Bhagalpur that hum Bihari corona ko chaba jate hain. No, that kind of bravado was there in Bihar.
Yeah.
But today you have close to 60,000 cases in Bihar, and over 330 deaths. And that is because, initially Bihar government was also taking it very lightly, especially Nitish Kumar. And he is probably known to kind of sit over things, expecting things to kind of automatically, instead of being proactive. So the test per million in Bihar used to be just about 3,800 per million, as compared to over 13,000 per million nationally. And many states did very well. But Bihar was doing a pathetic job with this. As Nitish Kumar said in the assembly yesterday, he was saying, we were expecting this pandemic to subside after June. Like, we thought after June it will be okay, but July has been so bad. Now he has realized the gravity of the situation, because it just does not go away.
Yeah.
The more you ignore, it will spread faster.
Yeah. The bigger it gets.
And deeper.
Yeah.
And he has realized it now, and that's why Pratyay Amrit is a very efficient IAS officer. He has been made the health secretary, and now Bihar's testing figure has improved dramatically. In the Pratyay Amrit took over last week, and now Bihar is testing about 30,000 people every day, which is a huge improvement, and he is planning to take it to about 50,000 by the end of the month. So let's see.
Parimal A is asking, how has the entire Sushant Singh Rajput situation been turned into a left versus right issue? Why has it caused such a big ruckus in politics?
No, as I said, initially some people were looking at it as a, caste issue.
Yeah.
Now, Rajput, this title, is a Rajput, and this community constitutes about 5% of Bihar. And if you look at the overall upper castes demography in Bihar, it's over 15%. So, how it was seen was like, okay, you try to basically woo the community by raising the cause of Sushant Singh's father, who was fighting for this, who was making allegations. But gradually, as I'm given to understand, it has, transcended that caste factor. Now everybody is talking about it. He has become a Bihari who is being victimized by a Shiv Sena-led government in Maharashtra. That's how it has turned out to be. And unfortunately, all the politicians in Bihar have joined.
Yeah.
And because everybody is supporting a CBI probe or Bihar police kind of taking over the probe there, nobody will get the dividends ultimately. And as you know, in Bihar, upper caste vote for the BJP.
Yeah.
So I don't know what other parties are seeking to gain from it, unless they also have this feedback that, people in the villages are also talking about it. I'm not aware of this so far. I'm told that it's gaining traction on the ground, but has it reached that deep that people in villages are also concerned about Sushant Singh Rajput case? I'm not very sure.
And not the floods.
And not the floods, yes.
Yeah. So on Sunday night, when the Bihar police reached Mumbai, they were asked to quarantine, and there was a huge issue created out of that. They didn't take that too nicely. And Rahul Kumar is asking, from deleting the file to quarantining an IPS officer, isn't it obvious that the Mumbai police is hiding something?
I don't really see, I have no reasons to make that conclusion. But yeah, I'm really surprised why Mumbai police is not ready to cooperate. Even if it's their jurisdiction, Bihar police has nothing to do with it. Well, showing the files, sharing the statements of people the Mumbai police have examined shouldn't harm their case.
Yeah.
Let the Bihar police have a look, let them go back and do whatever they want to, because the case will remain with Mumbai police.
Yeah.
So this confrontationist attitude of Mumbai police is a bit inexplicable for me.
And it might backfire.
It might backfire because it is giving a very bad name to Uddhav Thackeray government.
Yeah.
Although I would say that primarily Bihar government is at fault, or Bihar politicians are at fault. They are the ones who have been raking up this issue over and over again.
Yeah. Prerna is asking, what about LJP's Chirag Paswan adding pressure to Nitish by asking him to back a CBI case? Chirag has been pretty vocal about his dream to be chief minister and often takes pot shots at Nitish. Does this reflect a larger politics between LJP and JD, who are both NDA allies?
When you look at Chirag's statements and the way he has been targeting Nitish Kumar, see, there is a larger picture emerging in Bihar. Now, it could very well be Nitish Kumar's last election. He's pretty old. 5 years down the line, you won't have that Nitish Kumar factor in Bihar. So in 2005, when Lalu regime changed, with that, the Lalu's hold also got considerably weakened. And the way you look at it, if RJD BJP combined wins again, that may be an end to the RJD, because there are lots of internal squabbles happening. Tejasvi Yadav, with Lalu Yadav in jail, Tejasvi Yadav is not able to kind of give direction to the party, and he is working in fits and starts. Now, he did try to expand the party's base beyond Muslims and Yadavs. Now, Yadavs, also a section of Yadavs, have been known to be shifting their allegiance to the BJP, a section of them. It may actually gather more traction if BJP and the JDU combined wins again. Once the RJD loses, or once the BJP is able to make a stronger forays into the RJD, and the party becomes as weak as Congress is today, JDU without Nitish Kumar, JDU does not have any solid face. So JDU is all about Nitish Kumar.
Yeah.
Post Nitish Kumar, whenever he decides to hang up his boots, you have a big vacuum in Bihar politics. Who will be the next leader? Now, Lalu cannot come back and become your face. Tejasvi Yadav initially showed the potential, but now he's turning out to be a disappointment, I would say. He hasn't really been able to rally even his own party. Forget about mobilizing the people. So Lalu gone, Tejasvi Yadav not showing much potential. Nitish Kumar, probably
nearing the end of his
political career. Who will replace him? And that's why you see all these young people, especially Chirag Paswan, trying to emerge as an alternative voice.
Yeah.
But then fact is, Chirag Paswan's party is very small, LJP. LJP beyond the Paswan community, LJP does not have any hold over any other community. And Chirag also, he is basically a dynast. So it's Ram Vilas Paswan's vote. Whether Chirag Paswan will be able to become a youth icon which he aspires to be, we'll have to wait and see. But so far he has not shown any such
potential.
So, but it won't just be Chirag Paswan. Probably, who knows? I mean, sooner or later, once LJP loses its ground, Chirag Paswan may be looking for a fortune in the BJP, probably as part of BJP. Not today, maybe 5 years later. Because BJP does not even have any dynamic face. You have Sushil Modi, but Sushil Modi is not the favorite of the BJP high command, and you don't really have any state BJP leaders who really have shown their spark to become a mass leader. So everything looks so uncertain. You look at Bihar politics post Nitish Kumar, and we don't know which way it will go. And that's why you see so many characters kind of trying to make their voices heard.
You spoke about Bihar politicians, but even someone like Mayawati had a take on this whole issue.
Yeah,
she also demanded
I was surprised. But then again, she might be looking at migrants from UP who are based in Mumbai, and she might be kind of trying to gain their sympathy that, I'm taking up the cause of a Bihar or UP migrant who should get justice in Mumbai. So I think she might be trying to fish in the troubled waters because of that only.
Does this just imply then politicians are out of issues to fight about? Because if this is becoming an issue when there's a pandemic going on, when there are so many other things that are happening in the country, the death of an actor being made into such a big political issue, does it reflect?
That's the tragedy with the Indian opposition parties today.
Yeah.
Like, they're so confused. On 370, you heard the Congress going over the top in August, September, October last year, and subsequent months also. Now you have its first anniversary tomorrow, and you don't hear any congressman talking about it. Now, in Ayodhya, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be going for Bhumi Puja in Ayodhya tomorrow. BJP, it's the BJP's show.
Yeah.
It was started by the VHP, but BJP took over with Advani's Rath Yatra. After that, Ayodhya has been the BJP's core issue. Now, if Priyanka Gandhi gives a statement, I welcome Bhumi Pujan, and Manish Tiwari is supporting it, many other Congress are supporting it, you cannot really snatch that issue from the BJP. Ayodhya is the BJP's core.
Yeah.
Still they are trying it. So the opposition parties look very confused. Sometimes they attack the government on intrusion by the Chinese forces into Ladakh. Then they forget about it. They start talking about rise in diesel and petrol prices. Then they forget about it. Then they start talking about Ayodhya and how BJP, as they say, is playing communal politics. Then they forget about it. So they keep shifting. That shows this utter confusion in the opposition rank.
And finally, Venkat Marthi from Hyderabad is saying, if Sushant Singh Rajput death itself is such a mystery, now after a month and a half the investigation seems to be a bigger mystery, is it truly to bring culprits to the fore, or will end up as being another battle for political gains?
Frankly, his death is becoming a kind of Pippli live, I would say.
Yeah.
The other day you saw one TV channel basically reenacting how he might have hanged himself.
Yes.
The TV studio was converted into a kind of hospital where some effigy was being strangulated with a rope. Yeah. That's how he might have used a rope as.
So it's caricaturized him.
Yeah, so it's a TV soap opera now.
Yeah.
So we don't know what is truth and where the conspiracy starts, where the truth ends. We have no idea so far because everybody is talking differently and we don't really have anything concrete from the Mumbai police so far. And what the Mumbai police has been telling us so far is, that allegation by Sushant Singh's father, that 15 crores was probably transferred from his account to allegedly to Ria's account has no substance. That's what the Mumbai police says.
Yes.
They have gone through the accounts. Then there are other allegations about the family not being allowed to visit him while he was being treated for mental illness.
Yes.
Again, we don't know. He was actually getting psychiatric treatment, but we don't know the truth. But he was not being allowed because his sister was staying in Mumbai when all that was happening. Now, Sushant Singh did not come from a very humble family. I mean, as I told you, his cousin is a BJP MLA and his wife is in Chirag Paswan's party.
His brother-in-law is the senior
His
IPS
brother
officer.
of Haryana cadre.
Yeah.
So he's not somebody who would be kind of, seeking help and there would be nobody to help him out. And he was himself a star. So all these allegations, conspiracy theories, we don't know. So that's why I think it's better because there is a big question mark on the Mumbai police also now. Whatever might be the political drama behind Bihar government's move. But because you have a big question mark on your investigative or investigation, I would say some kind of bias has been alleged against you. That the methods of your investigation method is not right, or probably you're not working or you are not following the case the way you should. I think it's better for the Maharashtra government also to actually go for the CBI probe.
Yes. All right.
So,
on that note, thank you so much for watching Politically Correct. Please do tune in to all our shows every week and do subscribe to our YouTube channel for more such videos. Thank you.